What is up, guys, and welcome to Pirates of the Caribbean Thursday. So today I'm going to be talking about minifigures from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So up first is Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, I have a couple different versions of Jack Sparrow with a couple slight differences, so I'm going to be doing some of these kind of quickly because there aren't a ton of differences. So this is sort of your standard Jack Sparrow here. He has this really nice hairpiece that's custom. It has like a ton of his like trinkets in it and his piece of 8, and it even has like this bone that was in his hair. Even like the bandana that comes in the back with the hair over it. It's very well detailed, very well colored. Now, as you can see, he also has this nice chest printing where he has a buckle that goes across and across there, and he has this like fabric that goes around his waist and like drips in the front. The printing on this is super well done. Like the amount of like red and white stripes that they put into it, they're just very consistent and very detailed. It really makes his minifigure pop. This does have a dual face print. Almost all the ones I'm talking about today will have a dual face print, or at least face on printings on the front and the back. So yeah, pretty standard character. There is no arm printings, but that is completely fine. It really doesn't need it because he's just wearing his like blue vest with like the cut-off sleeves, and these other white sleeves of the shirt underneath come through. Very well detailed. It really looks just like him. It nails his look perfectly. I have nothing bad to say about this minifigure. I love it through and through. Now, the first variant of Captain Jack Sparrow I'm going to talk about is this one right here. Now, this is a look of his from the beginning of the second movie, where he's on an island with the tribe and he's trying to make himself like the elder, and he has all these like tattoos of eyes painted on his face. The attention to detail on this face print is incredible. The amount of like detail that are in all these eyes here, and it is also a dual face print, like I said before. Everything else here is the same. The hairpiece is the same. The chest and everything is the same, just his face is a different print. Now, the next one I'm going to be talking about is a part look of him from the first movie, and that is this one right here. Now, in the movie, Captain Jack Sparrow gets his hands on some of the coins that came from the chest of Cortez, and when you remove it, you turn into a skeleton in the moonlight. So this is supposed to be his face sort of skeletonized. The rest of the body is the same. They didn't give him like hand pieces for like a skeleton or even like a difference of the chest print, which is a little disappointing. And I'll show you why it's even more a little disappointing that he's just the standard body in a couple minifigures. But I won't get too far ahead of myself. So like I said, this face print though is pretty nice. It has this like white skeleton look. The white print on it isn't super prevalent, but if you didn't notice it, you'd think, oh, that's kind of a whitish color, but it looked more white on camera, but in person it's definitely not as white as these arms are. And on the back he has this standard face. It's a little different from some of the other ones. He has like this like open mouth angry sort of grin, or whatever you would call that. He's gritting his teeth a little bit, but yeah, that's the only difference of this one. So not a lot different, just a custom unique face that I thought was worth talking about. Now up next I'm going to have the last variant of Captain Jack Sparrow that I'm going to be talking about, and that is his Captain Coat version. As you can see, he's wearing his brown coat here. So the leg printing is pretty similar. However, this time, as you can see, the coat continues down, and overall it's still relatively similar, like with like these buckles and straps I think are the same print, and this red fabric here, but he just has these brown arms, which really makes him look better when he's at the helm. It really gives him that more captain look. And obviously the hairpiece here has the hat on top of it instead of showing the entirety of the bandana. But besides that, it's still the same, minus just the hat, but like everything underneath is still fine. So yeah, once again, not too much different. The headpiece is the same as most of the others. So yeah, I like this. This is a nice variant. It's definitely more different from the rest. This is the most different from like the standard one that I have because it has completely different parts. So those are all the versions of Captain Jack Sparrow that I have. But you can't talk about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies without talking about Barbossa. So Barbossa is Captain Jack Sparrow's like rival. This minifigure is very well done. I absolutely love this. He has a similar sort of coat pattern to the Captain Jack Sparrow on the right there, but instead it's black and the buckles are more off to the side here, like all these like straps and stuff. The thing that really stands out is the shirt that he's wearing with all these like dark orange and like muted red colors. It's very well detailed. He even has this necklace around him. The way a lot of these Pirates of the Caribbean figures like flow from the chest to the waist to the legs is really nice, and this is one of those that's nice. Even has this little back printing. Not a ton, but it is a nice touch to have. And he does not have any back of the face or secondary face printings. Because when he has his hat on, you can kind of always see it, so it would really take away from this minifigure if you could see it. And this hat piece is also really nice too. It has this nice way that's folded over on the side like it is from the movies, and you can put the blue feather in his hat, which he also has. The face is also pretty nice too. It pretty accurately nails a lot of the looks that he has, and like his beard is very like scraggly, which works really well. Now, another variation I have of Barbossa, which is kind of what I was alluding to when I was talking about the skeleton Jack Sparrow, is this version. Now, this came in a set where you can like flip around to the side of him, because when he's standing in the moonlight, he's supposed to be a complete skeleton, minus whatever clothing he's wearing. So as you can see, this face print is pretty awesome. It looks super menacing. It's relatively the same as this one. It just looks a little more angry, and obviously it's white and has like more of a skull look to him. Once again, there is no back of the head printing, which is fine because of the hat that he has. As you can see, he does have a different torso, arms, and legs from like the classic or like the standard skeleton here, which I always thought was a nice touch. They have done this with some other characters. I think some Ninjagos have these, especially like the boot parts and these arms. It just makes them being able to hold stuff better and kind of resemble a regular minifigure more as far as like posing them. So it is nice that they didn't just use this like standard skull and put the face on it, because then it would look kind of lame. So it does kind of make me a little disappointed that they didn't just do that for the Jack Sparrow. Just have like a look like this with it, but I can sort of understand it. It's not that big of a deal, but I thought this one was worth talking about. So we're on the topic of characters that have these nice hats as well. I'm going to talk about Blackbeard. Now, this minifigure is pretty badass. I absolutely love this sword. I don't typically talk about accessories in these videos. This is like super cool here. It's like this custom mold, and it's also a rubbery material. Unfortunately, this does have leg printing. I just do not know where the leg printing is. It might be on another minifigure or in a box somewhere that I haven't looked through yet. So there is leg printing, and it continues the look of the chest down, but unfortunately I can't show that for you today. But as you can see, he has this really nice hat with this awesome like metal buckles print on it, and it really adds some depth to this character. And the way the hat flows into this hairpiece is also pretty epic. And the beard itself is also this like rubber mold. Now, it is a kind of hard to get the head out of here. As you can see, his eye is a little bit scratched from one time when I was trying to get it out, which is a little disappointing that I have a scratched one, but it's overall fine. Now, I just tried for about 5 minutes here to get the head out, and all I managed to do was turn it off center, and I can't even get it back. So I can't talk too much about the printing underneath. It's really nice. The chest printing underneath is also pretty cool, but it's going to take me a while to even be able to like get this head back into regular position, so I can't take it off, unfortunately, to talk about today. Now, once again, continuing with the hat theme, I have another one of the main villains, and that is Davy Jones. Now, as you can see, he uses the same hat mold as Blackbeard does. However, his is this nice navy blue, and it has these coral and like sea and like barnacle prints on it, which is really nice. Nothing on the top here, just on the front. But this minifigure is pretty awesome. Now, there is no leg printing on it, but I can understand why there isn't, because they had to put a peg leg in, because that's what he has. In this custom hand is this crab claw is pretty awesome. I don't know of any other character that has this. I know of a lot of characters that have like one custom hand, like some of them will have like a hook, but to have this giant crab claw is really nice touch and really accurate. And as you can see, he has this piece sort of similar to Blackbeard's. However, this one is not a rubber. This is a hard plastic. And you can see a little bit of his mouth there, which is normally how he talks. Once again, with the Pirates of the Caribbean, all these really nail the looks of these characters, which is always really nice. Now, since this one is made of rubber, I was able to take the head off. This is what the head looks like without this piece. So it doesn't look like him at all, but it's still nice that you can that they added the rest of the printing to this. So if you wanted to, you could use this for some other character or display him without it. I don't know why you would, but it's just a nice touch that they decided to give it a whole print, even though it will almost always be connected to this piece. Now, underneath, as you can see, he's got his dark navy blue jacket, and once again has a lot of these barnacles on it, and his coat's a little bit open there. And this back print is pretty standard for what you would expect. This is still, though, one of my favorite minifigures from Pirates of the Caribbean, just because of how it nails his look and the attention to detail on the hand and the peg leg. They could have easily just not given it to him, but it really adds that level of care that they had, especially for minifigures from this series. Now, while we're on the topic of Davy Jones, I'm going to talk about some of his henchmen that I have. And the first one I'm going to talk about was always my favorite from the movie. Hadris, I believe his name is. Now, he always has, this, shell part as his head, and his head is this sort of crab-like creature when it gets decapitated. His body's almost like a separate entity, which I always thought was kind of funny. Normally, it's covering this one eye here, but they do give you the whole head print just in case you want to. And this has a ton of this barnacle detailing all over it. So you can see it's on the shell here, it's on the face, it's even on the back of the face, even though the back of the face is, always just, covered up by this. even to like the back printing, it's all there, down in the waist and the legs. It's printed all over, and this has this really cool shade of green that I like, because you don't see this sort of green very often. So I really like this minifigure. I like the way his head looks, and I've always liked this character in general. Now up next is Makkus, I believe his name is. And he is this sort of hammerhead shark hybrid of a human, which is pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, this one does not have any leg printing, which is kind of a shame because I gave it to Hadris here, and I believe these came out in the same year. Now, one cool thing about this character is he has one eye on his human face open and one closed, and then on his like hammerhead shark face, he has that one that's closed here open, and the one that's closed here that's open over there. Now, once again, I love these like barnacle looks that they put all over it. It adds this level of detail to it. And he has this almost like crab or like lobster on his back. I don't know if that's what that's supposed to be, or if that's just like part of the barnacles growing off of him. I really like how this looks. It's still unfortunate that there's no leg printing, but it doesn't really take away from this character, so I'm not going to complain about it. It still looks pretty cool. And the last henchman I'm going to talk about is Bootstrap Bill Turner. Now, I like how he has the starfish on his head that he has in the movies. I wish that they added some of his hair that sort of comes. He has this like very matted, sort of like tangled up hair that's on the sides. I wish they added some of that to the face printing, but it's fine. It just kind of makes these sides here look a little empty. But even underneath his bandana is still this really nice like barnacle print that all these have. The coat in the back is pretty standard for what you would expect, and so is the front. Even though he has this sort of like almost like a sweater look on in his buckle that goes across. Once again, no leg printing, a little disappointing, especially since like Hadris has it here, and it really would have just added a level of depth to this character if they did. But it's not the end of the world that it doesn't have it. Now, speaking of Bill Turner, we have Will Turner. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is a lot of these characters did come with these like sword sheaths. So what you do is like when they don't have the sword, they can have it in here. Like Barbossa's comes with a black one. I don't have it on, unfortunately. It's on a different character right now. So I forgot to mention that in some of the other ones. Once again, no leg printing here, although he just does have brown pants, so I don't think it really needs it. It's fine without it. It's not like some of these where it's kind of disappointing. It's fine, it works. And I do like the level of detail on the back of his shirt with all these lines here. And he's also wearing a vest where his sleeves come through. And this face is also pretty nice, which also has a dual print to it. The hairpiece is also pretty cool. It really goes with like the look that he has. It's pretty accurate. And overall, this minifigure is pretty good. I have a couple of these. He even has this necklace, as you can see underneath, which I think is supposed to either be like his piece of 8 that he has from the first movie, or just be some other necklace from some of the other movies. I don't know if he continues to have it. It's not gold, so I don't know if it's actually supposed to be the piece of 8 or if it's just thrown in there. Now, up next is one of the main love interests of, honestly, a lot of the characters in Pirates of the Caribbean, and that is Elizabeth Swann. Now, as I talked about a couple days ago with Barriss Offee, one of the Jedi, she has, like, this is the sort of dress that's supposed to go down, and hers was just plain, like, black and didn't have any printing on it. And this is what I mean of like how much it really adds to this character, because it is just this like standard kind of brick here, but they added this print on the front that continues through. Mine is a little bit off-centered. I think that's just like a slight printing error. It's not a big deal, but it really continues this like whole dress down, which is really nice, which makes it like really stand out and pop, especially with all these gold highlights. Oh, and I didn't even notice this until just now, but she does have the piece of 8 from the first movie around her neck. And she does also have a nice back printing as well with continuing the necklace, and she has a secondary face. And this hairpiece is really nice. It's pretty accurate to the look of when she's wearing this dress. Overall, it's very well detailed, and I like the way it flows throughout the entirety. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is Mr. Gibbs. Now, he's been in all of the movies, I'm pretty sure, and he has the same hairpiece as Will Turner, however, his is gray, and he does have a dual face print, which is really nice. I like both of these looks. I think this one's a little funnier, so I normally keep it on this. And his beard is nice, how it goes from like the gray up top to the more whiter colored ones. And the chest piece is pretty standard. It is still different from the rest. The back is, once again, kind of the same. It really does accurately show his look. Once again, no leg printing. That's fine. It doesn't really need it, but it really kind of makes it look bland from the bottom when the rest has the top, especially with this light gray color. Now, the last one I'm talking about today is James Norrington. Now, once again, he has this like sword sheath here. However, his detail is pretty incredible on this figure. So as you can see, he has this nice longer sort of scraggly hair, which he's supposed to have from this look in the movies, which is really nice that they did it. It has the dual face printings, which is pretty nice. Kind of reminds me of Sirius Black from Harry Potter. I don't have a Sirius Black, but just that's kind of what it looks like to me, honestly. And the amounts of like gold highlights that are on this, the way they shine is really cool. And this navy blue jacket he has, the way it continues from the chest to the waist piece to the legs, has this nice flow to it. And like I said, it just goes to show that when a character has these sort of like plain, especially when it's a lighter color, when it has these plain legs, it kind of makes it stick out so much more when it has leg printing, even if it's just something slight or something like not super complicated. It really does go a long way. He has this pretty standard back printing with these gold buttons, but I always have like this minifigure. So that is everything for today. I will see all you guys tomorrow.
Farted on the track. Farted. Oh yeah. Yeah! We love that Dumpster Kid video. We all do! For more, like and subscribe. Hit it! Turn on the post notifications. Do it! Even when you're on vacation, you'll get notified.